So a few chapters into the Thousand-Year Blood War, when Yuha had just killed Yamamoto and was about to leave, he was interrupted by the shocking arrival of Ichigo Kurosaki to Soul Society. Ichigo then confronts Yuha, wanting to know if he's the one who caused the deaths and destructions in Soul Society, and Yuha confirms it. This only did much to piss off an already enraged Ichigo, who attacks Yuha, but to his surprise, Yuha subdues him quite easily. Yuha was just too strong of a foe for Ichigo to defeat at that moment. Yuha pinned Ichigo down and proceeds to lunge his sword at Ichigo's neck. After the dust and debris settles, to Yuha's shock, his sword had not even penetrated 2 centimeters into Ichigo's neck. And Ichigo doesn't waste this opportunity and fires a Getsuga Tensho at Yuha, which almost tore off Yuha's arm. After they separate, Yuha states that the ability that stopped his blade was none other than the Blood Vein, a prestigious Quincy ability only reserved to pure blood Quincies. This shocked Ichigo, and shocked us even more. Yuha also states that Kilge Opi's jail that Ichigo had been trapped in a few moments earlier cannot subdue Quincies. Understandably, Ichigo is even more shocked, and Yuha even mocks him further by saying that he doesn't know anything about his own mother. Yuha was gonna attack Ichigo and take him back to Silban, but he is stopped by his powers starting to run out of control, and he has to leave, but before he does so, he says something shocking to Ichigo. He calls Ichigo, "my son, born in the dark." Sorry for the long monologue guys, but anyways, today I will be exploring and explaining the relationship between Yuha and Ichigo. Yuha called Ichigo his son in 2 different occasions and called himself Ichigo's father once. While this may just be dismissed as Yuha calls all Quincies his children, trust me, it's very different in Ichigo's case. Is Ichigo the new emperor of the Quincies? Is Ichigo Yuha's son? Join me today as we uncover the meaning and possibility of Ichigo being Yuha's son. Watch to the end to grasp my concept and understanding of this topic. As always, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel for more Bleach videos like this, and cue the intro. To exactly understand the strange relationship Yuha believes he has with Ichigo, let's look back at their final interaction during the first invasion. When Yuha is saying goodbye to Ichigo, he says, "I'll be back for you again. Heal your wounds and wait, my son born in the dark." While saying this, you have to look at the expression on Yuha's face. For one, he is not directly looking at Ichigo. Instead, he says this while looking down. People tend not to make eye contact with the person they are talking to for various reasons, and some of them is when they are saying something embarrassing or when they don't want the person they are talking to know too much. Yuha has called a few people my son before, but in these occasions, he always made eye contact and was full of confidence. For example, look at when he called Uryu his son. He did so very casually and with eye contact. I don't want to dwell on body language since this is a manga after all, but Yuha almost looked sad when he called Ichigo his son. He almost looked concerned. For someone like Yuha, one of the most ruthless villains in Shonen Jump, to show a moment of weakness must be taken fully into account. It might be an outlier, but nonetheless, it still happened. Furthermore, Yuha's interest in Ichigo has always been weird, which we are gonna explore even more, but let's first look at Ichigo's Quincy Powers. So Ichigo got his Quincy Powers from his mom, Masaki Kurosaki. She was once a pure blood Quincy, but lost her purity to Shiro, the holo that was created by Aizen. To know more about Ichigo's mom, please read the Nothing But the Rain arc or wait for a video that I will do in the future. Anyways, Ichigo's Quincy Powers was so weird and strange. Ever since the first time it was revealed that Old Man Zangetsu was Ichigo's Quincy Powers, Ichigo easily became the most unique Quincy we've seen. Think about it. Ichigo is the first Quincy we have seen whose Quincy Powers literally have their own personality and will. Even in the arc about literal Quincies, there's no other Quincies whose powers were shown to have a spirit or personality, not even Uryu Ishida himself. And in fact, Ichigo's Quincy powers were so dominant that they were able to suppress his Shinigami and Holo powers. His Quincy powers even get more stranger because it revealed that Old Man Zangetsu, who is Ichigo's Quincy part, is a spitting image of Yuha from 1,000 years ago. When Ichigo confronted Old Man Zangetsu, he asked him, "Are you really Yuha?" And Old Man Zangetsu replies with, "I am the source of your Quincy powers inside you. I am Yuha and I am not Yuha." Old Man Zangetsu also revealed that the reason why he suppressed Ichigo's powers was so that Ichigo wouldn't become a Soul Reaper and wouldn't be dragged into battle. He didn't want Ichigo to get hurt or to suffer. Now for the people who say that Old Man Zangetsu is just Yuha's will in Ichigo, that is very false. Old Man Zangetsu has his own will, and his will was to protect Ichigo, but Yuha on the other side wanted the complete opposite. Now why would another Yuha with his own will be inside Ichigo? Why is Ichigo the only Quincy whose powers have their own will? Why does this Yuha inside Ichigo want to protect Ichigo instead of persuade Ichigo to fight for the real Yuha? And finally, if Old Man Zangetsu is just the will of Yuha inside Ichigo, why did he give Ichigo his true Shinigami powers and even gave his Quincy powers to Ichigo in the form of his dual Zanpakutos only for Ichigo to go against the real Yuha? All this proves that Ichigo is a very unique and special Quincy, and might even be the reason why Yuha was really insistent on capturing Ichigo and taking him back to Silban. Ichigo received Quincy powers from Yuha, but these powers are something of their own. They don't care about Yuha and are only there to serve Ichigo Kurosaki. Now, I am not oblivious to the fact that maybe other Quincy powers spirits would also look like Yuha, but since only Ichigo's Quincy spirit was shown to resemble Yuha, we can indeed assume that it's unique to him and he is such a powerful Quincy that his Quincy powers literally look like the god of Quincies. Apart from Yuha, Ichigo may be the strongest and most unique Quincy in Bleach. Above everyone and everything else, Yuha was interested in Ichigo the most, more than any other Quincy or Shinigami. But why was he interested in a single human boy? Let's explore this strange interest even more. So, apart from what I already talked about Yuha being so insistent on capturing Ichigo, we come to learn that Yuha was always interested in Ichigo even before they met. During their first confrontation in the Ryokyu or the Soul King Palace, Ichigo tries to save the Soul King, but upon touching Yuha's sword, Ichigo slashes the Soul King in half. This is because Yuha's Reiatsu, which was in the sword, slipped into Ichigo and made him slay the Soul King. Yuha explains that his will is Ichigo's will, but we've already established that this is not the case. Yes, Yuha can control the Quincy powers inside Ichigo, but they do not serve him. They have their own will, and it's proven in the next panel when Ichigo breaks free of Yuha's control and attacks Yuha. So Yuha's will is definitely not his, and I'll prove this even more because after killing the Reiyo, Yuha states that the Quincy blood in Ichigo should not tolerate the Reiyo's existence and that Ichigo should have no reason to stop him. But in the next panel, Ichigo says it loud and clear that he came to stop Yuha and he throws a Getsuga Tensho at Yuha. Now back to Yuha's interest in Ichigo. So Yuha in the same conversation reveals that Ichigo has always been fighting for him. All his battles, all his power-ups were for the sole purpose of Ichigo to kill the Soul King for Yuha. Now, here's where Ichigo being somewhat of a special person to Yuha comes into play because once again, amongst all Shinigamis and Quincies, Yuha just had to choose Ichigo as the one to kill the Soul King for him. Why? Well, Yuha states in bold that it's because his blood flows inside Ichigo, but we already know that his Quincy blood flows inside every Quincy, so once again, why did it have to be Ichigo who had to kill the Soul King? He could have literally used any other Quincy. Heck, he could have even used Panaida, who's literally the left arm of the Soul King, to kill the Soul King. This can only mean one thing, and that there is a special relationship between Yuha and Ichigo. Now look closely at Yuha's relationship with the Soul King. He calls the Soul King his father, but yet again, he was there, he planned this whole thing to kill the Soul King. And if you look in Ichigo's case, Yuha calls him his son. But Ichigo has always directly opposed Yuha, and in fact, he is even the one who ended up killing Yuha. And if you look at those two relationships between Yuha and the Soul King, and Ichigo and Yuha, there is so much similarity. Yuha, who is implied to be the son of the Soul King, opposes the Soul King and even killed the Soul King. Ichigo, who is Yuha calls his son, opposes Yuha and even killed Yuha. From all that we've seen, we can all deduce that Ichigo is a really special Quincy. Yuha's interest in him is proof of that. His Quincy powers are also proof of what we saw, that they have their own will and even directly oppose Yuha himself despite being born of Yuha. This is proved further by how Yuha wasn't able to take all of Ichigo's Quincy powers away, because you see, Ichigo was in Bankai when Yuha absorbed his Quincy powers. Ichigo has two blades. One represents his Hollow and Shinigami powers, and the other represents his Quincy powers. When Ichigo went Bankai, he joined these two blades together, so if his Quincy powers got absorbed, then his Bankai should have been undone, but it wasn't. This means that Ichigo still had some Quincy powers left. This could mean two things. Yuha didn't absorb all of Ichigo's powers completely, or Yuha cannot take all of Ichigo's Quincy powers. So yeah, Ichigo is a really special, unique and interesting Quincy. On the matter of his relationship to Yuha, now I've come to the conclusion that Yuha's relationship with Ichigo is the same as Yuha and the Soul King, on the fact that Yuha is born of the Soul King but is not loyal to the Soul King. In fact, he was the one who wanted to kill the Soul King. And the same applies to Ichigo in that he is born of Yuha, but he doesn't swear loyalty to Yuha. In fact, he opposes him and ended up being the one who killed Yuha. Based on everything that I have said in this video, every reason or argument that I have made in this video, I believe that Ichigo will be the father of a new race of Quincies. Quincies who do not share a connection to Yuha and will not share fealty to Yuha, or will not swear fealty to Yuha. They will be free from the command of the blood of Yuha and will thus never be subjugated under Yuha at all. In fact, I believe that the next blood of Quincies which come from Ichigo will not be susceptible to the Osvalin, which is the light that Yuha uses to take back or to take away the powers of the Quincies. And that was it everyone. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. I also did a video some few days ago on Aizen's Bankai. Feel free to watch that, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers and goodbye.